Hi, I'm Cameron Starnes, and welcome to Step Three's Friday podcast. I cannot wait to talk about who we have here today, Miss Marianne Windham. So, without further ado, let's get started. Well, we are so excited to have you here today. Marianne Windham is and has been in this business for a very long time. I not only consider her a friend, but also an expert in travel. We have a book of credentials for her, and it is a plethora of not only here locally, but also in the islands and Europe and all these different things. I will let her tell you more about herself. Very excited. So please help me to welcome Miss Marianne Windham of Windham Travel and Leisure.
Hey everyone. Hey Cameron. Marianne Windham.
See you. Please tell us just a little bit, a synopsis of you, how you got here, what you've done.
How I got here. It was very organic and it was a natural progression for me. So I've been at this for 17 years. I started my travel agency 17 years ago, Windham Travel and Leisure. And growing up, from the time I was in middle school, my mom was a group leader. She started coordinating trips for her friends and family and just different groups. And for over 25 years or more, she led groups all over the world. And she was very magnetic, and people would say, "Oh, Betty, where are we going next year?" So we're talking like groups of 35, 40, 50. And they literally went all over the world. And of course, Dad went with her. And she was very organized. She was a leader. She did a lot of things, but she was just amazing as far as organization and researching and everything else. So I grew up with that, and it was just always a part of my life. And then cut to college. I went to Birmingham Southern College on a dance scholarship and double majored in business. And there was a woman, I say woman, she was like 23, maybe 23, 25. Anyway, she would come and take our advanced ballet classes at Birmingham Southern because we had some different people in the community with theater and dance that would come in and dance with us and take classes. And she worked for a travel agency. And so again, I lived vicariously through her, and it was just a part of my upbringing and my life. And I just knew that eventually, if I had an opportunity to do this and pursue it as a career, that I was going to, and had enough of a history and knowledge and comfort level that I was like, you know what, I'm going to do that. I'm probably going to do that in the future.
Well, I love travel. We were talking the other day about what's really important. And I've said before, when coaching and things like that, I'm not much of a materialistic kind of person. In fact, I struggle with that when I'm in classes. A lot of sales classes are about how many millions do you want to make? What is the mansion you want to live in? A lot of times they'll say, like, what is your ideal car? And I'm not knocking that at all, because people, they do, like, they're like, I want to have a Maserati, and get it.
Good for them.
Yeah. I'm like, 4 wheels, I really don't care. I got pulled over not too long ago, and speeding a little bit. And the guy, the officer was very, very nice. And I speed all the time. Hope there's no officers.
Cameron.
I know, shame. And so I'm like, I'll pay the ticket. Like, I'm never mad, I'm like, got me. But he was very kind. And he said, well, what year is this car? And I said, it's white. So for me, but experience, like, I want to go everywhere. And I just think, my kids are not, when we come back and we talk about and experiences, and I love it. I love
I
it.
think I am exactly the same way, because it really is about collecting the experiences. I feel like for me, they have helped to shape who I am,
Yes.
because when you can explore and experience and immerse yourself, and also have an understanding of other people in other countries and cultures, their lifestyles, their daily habits, the food they eat, and just the amazing treasures and history of these places that we're able to experience. And now more than ever, we thought, a lot of people were like, "Oh, I want to do that one day," or, "Well, let's put that off until next year." And then it shut down in 2020.
It did.
And then it's like, "Oh, you mean I can't go?" And I really think that it made a lot of people it was like on their distant bucket list, that they
Right.
really started concentrating on, okay, let's get serious, and we want to go. Let's do this while we can. And I have to, if you don't mind me
Yes,
jumping in.
tell them
Okay,
news.
you're hearing it here, people. Today, Friday, June 10th, 2022, they just announced, Washington, that the requirement to test before coming back to the US has been lifted. Woo! That is a
Woo!
huge thing to celebrate. Now, granted,
Yes.
they're going to reassess it in 90 days, but I am celebrating this. Really, I feel like something we've been waiting on since January, and just so grateful for my clients who are traveling right now, who are
Yes.
traveling the rest of this summer. And for myself also, I'm going to conference out of the country soon. That it's just another thing that I will not have to think about. But we've all had to prepare, and there are rules and requirements and things that we have to do before we
Absolutely.
go, while we're there, before we come back, when we return. And that is just a nice, positive breath of fresh air that came today. So that's all
Yes.
I'm here.
I've got to get that. I've got to get that clapping thing. That's what I was telling
Yeah.
Kevin
Or
last week.
just
I
some
need that.
silent clapping. This is, yeah.
Ah, that is okay. First thing we're going to start off on, and this is we've got a nice audience out there. I'm going to go, and you're going to tell me.
Okay.
I've got my information here. Um, just go down through what people. You've got so many tips of what people should be listening. Go different places they can go to that can help them. This is just free for you, free information. Um,
Well, first, I want to, as far as like the requirements and just some
oh, they're good. Yes.
tips when you're looking to go somewhere. There is, I would like to call it a cheat sheet. In the first place, US travel.state.gov is a website that everybody that's traveling from the US should be going to, because it will update you with embassy information, what is required for you as a US citizen to go to any destination. You put in the country, and it tells you what you need, what is required of you as a US citizen to go to that destination, what is required of you while you're in the destination, required for you to come
Mm-hmm.
back to the US, and any other things, if there's a level of threat, whether it is related
Oh,
to
nice.
whether it's related to COVID, crime, whatever, it is going to update on that site. And it's your responsibility as a traveler. We can't just go, "Oh, let's just go get on the plane." You have to be responsible for yourself. But that's something that I just remind all of my clients about. Another important thing too is to enroll in STEP, STEP, and it
Okay.
will help you. You enter your information of who you are, what you're doing. STEP actually stands for Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, and that connects you with the US Embassy, so that you're letting them know, I am traveling out of my country. This is where I'm going. This
Is
is
it a
who I
.com?
am. It's just they will find it through the travel.state.gov.
Oh,
The
that
STEP program
enrollment
is
step while
within,
they're there. Perfect. I'm putting
exactly,
it
it is
in the
within that.
chat as well because it'll be, stationed there. That's great. Because
Right.
that
And
lets the country know, that lets the US know, hey, I'm over in Japan, whatever.
right. And if there's an issue, I'm just saying the need to contact, they know where you are. Our embassy
Oh
knows.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, that's extremely helpful, not only for yourselves, but if you have if you have family traveling out, to get them to do that, so that there's a way that you can communicate with them that way. I mean, it's just another safety tip. Another thing too, is I call this like the cheat sheet app,
Mm-hmm.
is going to Sherpa,
Right here.
SHERPA, and you see it up there. You go in and apply www.apply.joinsherpa.com, and it is a very simple app that wherever you're going, if you're going international, you basically would put in, one of the first things that's listed there is vaccinated, or click on unvaccinated. So you put in your parameters, if you're whichever one of those you are, where you're coming from. I'm in Huntsville, Alabama. I will be very specific and say I am coming from HSV. I am going to
Mm-hmm.
CUN, Cancun Airport, and then it'll pull up, you select, and then it'll pull up what is required before you go, what is required when you're there, requirements and restrictions, and then what's required to come back. And that is something that every traveler needs to have, both of those things in their toolkit, and prepare. You have to be prepared no matter where you go. I am a little bit of a type A, as Cameron knows, and I operate with folders. I mean, I am a folder person. So even when I travel, I may have a folder of each printout piece. I also supply this for my clients if there's a complicated trip, like if they're going to multiple destinations and have intercontinent or intercountry air and different hotels and rail and transfer and different, all of that. It's good to have those things, print them out. So it's like, okay, here's our first sheet, going to the airport. Next, got to get the transfer company. Next, this is our reservation confirmation for the resort. Next, the tours and activities. And so you just got to be however you need to. I'm old school. Everybody's digital, but I don't trust that maybe the internet's going to work everywhere I go. I have hard copies of everything. You have to have backups, not only in your travel itinerary, but whoever you're traveling with. And this is something I learned from Betty Cook, my mom. When she was the group leader, she had everybody, they all sent her copies of their passports, or she made copies and kept them in like a manila envelope of every traveler with her group. And sure enough, there was a couple that packed their passports in their luggage. And it's not funny, but I mean, things happen.
Right.
So,
I would do that. I would do that.
It was, for
make sure we have these, zip it up, and then you're trying to get somewhere. And,
but it's good to have it
on
on
plane
paper,
somewhere.
but also like screenshot your passport or upload it to your phone. Have it in a folder on your phone, not just for yourself, but everybody else that's traveling with you, and have them have your information too. So I know
this
that's
is a great one. Talk about this.
Extra is good. Better safe than sorry.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. This I thought was amazing that you told me about. FlightAware.com. Oh my goodness. This is for everybody.
Oh yeah. So FlightAware, and this is a little bit of a madness with me, as far, I don't know if a lot of other travel advisors do that. I would think and hope that they do, but and I can't really help myself. It's not something that is required of us, but for the travelers themselves. And also I want to know, and I will track people's flights. And if there's a delay or a change of gate, in the first place, everybody who's traveling and flying, you need to download the app of the airline also, not only for the requirements, what you may have to upload as a traveler that's going to get on that flight. They have things that they're going to request of you as a passenger. This has to do with your actual flight schedule And if it's on time, if it's delayed, if it's changed gates, well, you'll get that notification also from your airline app. But
Oh,
this
yes.
is how family and friends can track flights by the airline and the flight number. It'll pull it up. You can actually even see, like, click on where's my plane now. If it's an itinerary that's going between Nashville and Miami, it'll show you where it is. Oh, it's got an hour and 20 minutes left, or it landed 15 minutes ago, or it's landed and it was 4 minutes early. And so it's very specific. And I'll tell you that I do that. Sometimes I have multiple people in different time zones, all over the world, but I'm looking at
Yes.
that. And I shared this with Cameron earlier this week, that I had a honeymoon couple. I just wanted to find out, and it was the day before they were going to depart. So it was the day of their wedding.
That's exactly what I want you to talk about.
Yeah. So I saw, I'm not gonna call out the airline. There's been a lot of airline issues, as we all know. If anybody's
they're in a tough time too. There's closure, and so much is on. I think about them all the time. The pressure on them to follow regulations, and they're trying to do the best they can.
Well, also, a lot of the airlines, a lot of people were furloughed during COVID. And so the hiring process and the training process to have people come back, honestly, it has been like an avalanche of activity. Of travel is up to the levels that it was pre-pandemic. The desire of people to travel, I mean, they've been boxed up. I've been boxed up. Get me out of here. I want to
go at home, and now they're thinking, I mean, they're going crazy, especially for people who are extroverts, for people who were avid travelers, that for a year and a half or more. And then now, but actually, before, I want you to explain, because I think a lot of people, why a travel, me, I know, like, you're scared of a travel agent, and you think, oh gosh, am I going to pay?
I've never heard of you being scared of a travel agent, but maybe tentative.
I'm scared. I was like, I can barely afford to go on vacation.
Oh, it's mainly about
thousands of dollars on.
Okay, you're talking about financial. So no.
Yes.
So I operate
very poor, Marianne.
Yeah, I'll explain. Yeah, so I do not charge a service fee. I do not charge fees for the service of working with me. My fees are paid by the industry partners,
which makes sense. I don't know why I didn't think about that before. Yeah, because they want you to bring more people.
Right, the cruise lines, the resorts, they all pay my commission for you. By not working with me, you're not going to get a rebate or a discount from them.
They're taking that money. They're taking it.
Yeah, and so
that's the price anyway.
You get my personal service, and the other thing too is I'm an advocate for my clients, which we'll come back to the issue of the honeymoon couple in just a second. But basically, you can book online, but you're a number.
Absolutely.
I book my clients, and they're VIPs, and believe me, I've been doing this for a long time. I like to say I'm very direct and stern. I have to put up my dukes, and we have clout. The advisor community carries a lot of power, and so the difference in being somebody in cyberspace,
right?
You don't have any representation. They just really want to do it all themselves. Go for it. I mean, that's actually not my ideal client that I'm looking for either.
I think it's
a relationship. It's a relationship, and there's a huge amount of trust. I take care of them. I've got clients right now that they were in a resort hotel, that they were given special amenities, $100 food and beverage credit, early check-in, late checkout, champagne delivered to them, those kinds of things that I can offer through certain special resorts and hotels because of the consortium I belong to, that I can offer special perks for my clients that they're not going to get if they book online. Okay, so now back to the honeymoon couple.
I love this. I love this
Being an
story.
advocate, and this, believe me, and it's over 2 years. My first cancellations happened March 9th of 2020, of 2 years ago.
Brandon gives us a big thumbs up. He understands.
So my honeymoon couple, I just went to FlightAware, and I was just checking to see, is everything good? Their flights, all of that, and it was canceled. So
Honeymoon.
I didn't want to bother them. They were at the reception, and the father of the groom and said, Houston, we have a problem. And the father and I were on the phone at flights on a different airline. The original airline was not going. I mean, it was a massive systems outage.
That's right.
Worldwide, that affected thousands and thousands and thousands of flights. And the next flight they were going to be able to get this honeymoon couple on was going to be 3 days later. No. So
Marianne said no.
No.
You've already got people on here saying they're going to book you next year. They're like, they're already in. She calls the father-in-law because she doesn't want to bother the bridegroom. She's like,
well, first I texted him because I didn't want to bother him either, but I said, I need to speak with you. And then
problem. Yeah, love it. I mean, that's it. And then you're like, no, not 3 days later. Not going to mess up my honeymoon.
So as the story turns out, is they actually got there earlier on the day they were supposed to take off than the original flight. And they had a changed return flight. Everything went off smoothly. All were given a complete refund by the airline who had to prompt the cancellation. And otherwise, I mean, I could have just said, oh, well, they're good, and been awakened that morning with our flights being canceled. I can't always catch them, but I'm saying I am watching. I am watching.
It's just like, where's the flight? Is there being a problem? Listen, those people in Malaysia, she would have been like, whoa, plane's going down.
So it's just, but again, there are ways that the travelers can also check. I mean, be type A. When you're traveling, you have to be that way. You have to just go in. You want to do your pre-check and everything. They'd even pre-checked in and it was all good. I'm saying this happened at 4 a.m. in the morning the day before. And so anyway, so that's
okay. We have got to now. We've got if you have questions, please ask. I'm going to take this off here so we can look at some pretty locations. Yeah. So you tell us. You just tell us.
Right. So I just happen to have, and a lot of these are prompted by clients who want to go somewhere. And just to give you a little tip, a lot of times I see the opportunity to start a group because more than likely, and I'm going to just use cruises as an example because I happen to have a lot of cruise business that has exploded because of clients wanting to cruise to these different destinations. So she can show you pretty pictures. I'm just going to give you a rundown of the cruise groups that I currently have anybody else can be booked into. And for a lot of them, it only takes 5 cabins or 10 people to make a group. So if I have 7 people come to me and it's 3 cabins, I said, you know what, I'm going to start a group. And there are probably other people that would like to be booked into this. It gives them a reduced rate. It gives them special amenities. I'm able to give them, like in the example for these that I'm getting ready to share, $100 onboard credit per cabin. And it's incredible. And so right now, just a rundown, I'm going to talk really quickly. April 9 to 16th, there's a Caribbean sailing, 7 nights. These are all on NCL, by the way. Let me go ahead and tell you that because I'm just going to go through them. The Caribbean one is going to the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, round trip out of Puerto Rico. On May 16 to 25, a 9-day Mediterranean round trip from Barcelona, going to Italy, France, and Spain. On May 16, also on May 16, a 10-day Greek Isles round trip from Rome. On May 27th to June 3rd, Alaska, 7 days round trip from Seattle.
That's on my bucket list.
On June 25th to July 5th, the same 10-day itinerary of the Greek Isles going round trip from Rome. And then in 2024, I mean, you can book 2 years out and then just pay a little bit as you go. 7-day Hawaii round trip from Honolulu on June 1st through 8th of 2024. Those are all existing groups that you can book yourselves into. The groups don't get together. It's not like group activities. You don't have to know. You won't even know who's in your group unless you actually already know them. You don't have to hang out with them, but that's the beauty of a group. So very exciting. Again, people are ready to go. And these are just based on requests of clients. And now, they're up and over 40 cabins booked, 30 booked, 15, 10, 7, 9. I mean, I've got the 5 minimum for every group already. So
yeah, I don't think that's what I didn't understand. A lot of times I had heard you talk about reunion groups, family groups, but
right.
The truth is you've been doing this so many years and you're out in the community and things like that. A group doesn't mean you know the people. You just happen to be on this huge ship with all kinds of people. But Marianne is going, oh, there's 2 or 3 here and 4 or 5 here. Okay, now I can book this like a group. And so everybody is receiving discounts and extras and little money things and this, that, and the other, because as a travel agent, she's put this together as a block or a group or whatever.
Right.
But
also
people in the group don't necessarily have any connection to each other and they get there and do their own thing.
Right. But it also is not necessary that it is something that I'm coordinating and booking because of my host agency. There's 900 agencies around the country that are associated with our host out of Boca Raton, Florida. So the host has hosted group sailings. Our consortium, Signature Travel Network, has hosted group sailings. So I can insert one person into an existing group. That's one of the immediate things I'll go and do is see if there's just an individual or one cabin that is wanting to go somewhere. I will first look to see, are there any group sailings with corporate? Are there any group sailings with the consortium? And again, it offers all kinds of perks. And I'll go there first to look and see if it fits in within the parameters that my clients are wanting to travel. And I would say 95% of the time it does. So
there's so much that you can do, and there's so much more you can do in protection you can do by using someone who has so much experience.
Well, and I also like the destination specialists in every destination. We have partners that they have a U.S. presence, offices here, but boots on the ground in the destinations. They focus on Europe, or they focus on Polynesia, or they focus on, on Mexico or Antarctica. I mean, it's just they are the experts in those destinations. And so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We're working with experts who help us help our clients. We're all in it together for the clients. So that's the beauty of it also.
We'll ask here in our last couple of just minutes here, any questions from our watchers? Thank you, Delvin, so much. Love having you here. As an entrepreneur, what would you say has been your key to success?
Being resilient, in
Oh,
particular in
yes.
this industry, being resilient, being passionate about it. If I did not love this, I would have closed down,
Oh,
because
yeah.
and I'm saying, let's talk about just my industry. There were several that did shut down, but I love what I do. I know what I do. It's been a part of my life all of my life, and it is working my passion. And so if I didn't love it and didn't have the perseverance and didn't have the most wonderful clients who are so good and kind to me, the majority of my business is based on referrals from my clients that I have been working with for a long time. And so I just cannot stress enough how much I appreciate them and their relationship and trust and care for me. They really do care about me and my
Mm,
business, and that's important. And having collaborations with other people and other businesses and entrepreneurs who totally get it, because they
yes.
understand what it means to be in business and how important it is for us all to think about small business owners before going online and saying, well, let me just go. Well, let's just stop for a second and think, is there
Amen.
somebody that we know in our community who does this? And that's really how I live, and try to live and work and play, thinking about, do I know somebody that does this, that I can support their business in this way? And
Yeah,
it's not going to cost anything
Expedia.
extra.
I bet you Expedia does not call your father or father-in-law at the reception and say, "Hey, Houston, we've got a problem. Let's please get these kids on their honeymoon." And that's the human touch. And I have to tell everybody, you have given me great. I'm still using 10 and then with my high
Oh,
I
the 10 and
client.
then. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still using that, to have them sit down, get 10 things done, and then go socialize, come back.
Okay, we have to share that because there's a couple minutes. Oh, and there's not a couple minutes. Yeah,
Oh,
so
well,
okay.
I'm the CEO. I run my own stuff.
Okay, thank you. So something that I live, I guess, basically live my days by, as far as, I mean, you don't have to tell me at all to be productive, because I'm very driven and results oriented. So I started a thing for myself called 10 and then, and basically I'm a big list maker, and I write down 10 things that, like, what is urgent and most important. I have to get these 10 things done, and it may not all be business. It may be that I have to do these things before I get interrupted by an email or a text or phone call or whatever. Unless I
Mhm.
know that there's something urgent that I'm waiting on somebody to contact me back, I'm not going to ignore them if there's something important. But I have to get those 10 things done and accomplish that. Check, 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 before I can move on. And so that is one of the ways that I operate my life and my business. And it has really helped me. And it just, I think, relieves stress for me. It
Mhm.
makes me know that regardless of what else happens the rest of the day, I feel accomplished. And
Well, it's that paradigm shift. We want to be wild and footloose and fancy free, especially solo entrepreneurs. They're usually high eyes, but
yeah.
the more systems we put in place, really, the more freedom we have. So I want to thank you, clap, clap, clap for being here. So it's just great. Like they said, so much information. I'm going to bring you back down here. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Please reach out. Here is Marianne's email, wyndhamtravel@gmail.com. We've had her phone number up there. She's very easy to get in touch with and find what is on your bucket list. What would you like to do? She can help you do that well, and she will take good care of you. Again, we've had scrolling across the screen there website where you can find a lot of information, wyndhamtravelandleisure.com. Please join us next week when we will have Kristen Scroggins here, who is an expert on generations. How do we talk to millennials? You know, what's their gig? Generation X, I don't know what all these letters, boomers. So we're excited to speak with her. Thank you for joining us today. Have a blessed weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.